And we're back in the room. Right, this is a very important video for anyone who's working a 9-to-5 sales job. Recruitment, tech sales, software sales, insurance, brokering, business development, car sales, real estate agent, or whatever 9-to-5 sales job you are currently working. Because in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to go from making £3,000 to £6,000 per month in your current 9-to-5 sales job to transitioning into remote high-ticket closing and making £10,000 month after month in commissions. Now, to make it as simple as possible, I've broken it down into a few key steps that you're going to need to execute to go from where you are now in your current 9-to-5 sales job to getting to the point of consistently hitting £10,000 per month in commissions through remote high ticket closing. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the very first thing straight out the gate you need to do is master the skill. Now, I'm not talking about the skill of sales. Congratulations, you already have you have that. You know how to cold call, you know how to prospect, outbound dial, follow up, email management, all of it. Fantastic. What I'm talking about is mastering the skill of high ticket sales. It's two very different things, but at the same time, they're somewhat similar. To give you an understanding, the sales processes of both are very different. And this is coming from someone who did 2.5 years in corporate sales, as most of you know, and 2.5 years in remote high ticket closing. They are very different. Corporate sales, you're selling B2B, mainly to managers, directors, or a C-suite team over a 1, 3, 6, 12-month sales cycle. Okay? You're probably dealing with decision makers talking about spending the company's budget rather than their own budget, their personal income. In remote high-ticket closing, mainly you're one-call closing people on a video sales call. One call, sometimes 2-call closing people on a 45-minute video Zoom or Google Meet Zoom call, and you're having them hand over their own personal money, whether it's £3,000, £5,000, £10,000 of their personal savings or credit card or whatever. It's a lot more emotional than logical, okay? So the first thing straight out of the way is master the skill of high-ticket sales. Now, there are 7 parts to a high-ticket sales call: the intro, the frame, the discovery, the transition, the pitch, the close, objection handling. You need to know how to handle every single part of the call. There's probably 5 to 7 sections each of those 7 parts. You need to become very confident and comfortable mastering and navigating every single section of the call. The third thing you need to do is be able to handle every single type of objection. I need to think about it. I need to speak to my partner. Give me 24 hours. Can we speak tomorrow and then I'll give you a yes or a no? I don't have the funds. Now's not the right time. All of these objections that you are going to get at the end of a 45-minute sales call, you need to know how to handle them. Because I'm telling you right now, this is coming from someone. When I first was getting into remote high-ticket closing, I went, I don't need training. Let me get a remote sales job. I'm going to be brilliant straight away. I've sold 10 million in corporate sales. Little did I know, the skill you need in high-ticket sales is, in my opinion, somewhat in especially within the call and objection handling. Other areas not, but especially from the objection handling side of things, you need to be very skilled in high ticket sales. Like in corporate sales, you didn't need to be too skilled because the sales cycle's so long and you're speaking to so many different people, and it's not like on the ball, like bang, you need to know it off by heart there and then. It's like I can have a day or two to think about it and get back to them, send them an email. Whereas high ticket sales, you're on that call, you need to deal with that objection in the right manner to not raise sales resistance and for them to say, no, I'll speak to you tomorrow and then never get back to you again. You need to know how to master every single objection, okay? The other thing you need to do is be able to close a prospect on that call, right? The sales cycle is normally a 1-call close, sometimes 2-call close, right? You don't have long. You have 45 minutes to build enough emotion from where they are now to where they want to be, create a big gap, build urgency and sell them and justify why they should hand over £3,000, £5,000, £10,000, £15,000 to you on that call. It requires a lot of skill. So if you think you're a corporate sales big dog and you can just get in straight away, I promise you, this is why it's really important. The other thing you need to do is become an expert at the qualifying phase. The key thing here that's a little bit different to corporate sales is in high ticket sales, they have booked in the call themselves. It's a warm inbound call. So you need them to be selling you throughout the call, why they're willing to change, why they're willing to buy your coaching program, okay? That's the frame you need to be having. Rather than in corporate sales, it's very much you selling a service, you selling them, you following up, you on top of them. Whereas here, it's a case of you've booked in. I'm going to treat this almost like a doctor and a patient. You've come to see me with a problem. I'm just going to figure out if I can even help you. And if I can, I'll prescribe you a solution and the medicine, and then we move forward. If I don't, I'm going to say, look, I can't help you. You need to speak to another GP or another doctor. Okay? That's the frame of mind. So you need to master the qualifying phase. Remember this. The key that will determine a fantastic salesperson in the high ticket sales space, someone who's making 8 to 10,000 a month, someone who's making 10 to 30,000 a month. The key difference is their qualifying phase. That's how you can tell who's a better salesperson. It's not the objection handling. It's nothing like that. It's their qualifying phase. Remember that. And then the last thing within this section is the ability to close at a minimum 25% close rate. The high ticket sales space is very competitive. A lot of these teams are forking out 8, 10, 12, 15, 20, 25, $30,000 in commissions month after month for their sales team. Do you think they're going to take someone who isn't trained and ready, who doesn't know how to handle every single rejection, go through the qualifying phase, handle every type of prospect? Do you think they're just going to take you on? Absolutely not. That's why you need to know every single part and master the skill of high ticket sales before you can even think about landing an offer. Okay, so this is the most important thing. This is, in my opinion, out of all the things I'm going to go through, the most important thing. Mastering the skill, which is why coaching is important. Okay, now the next thing is landing an A+ offer. As you can see here, I've put A+ offer. I haven't just said land an offer, because I've seen some very, very good closers on a terrible offer make 8,000 a month. But I've also seen some terrible closers on a fantastic offer make 15, 20,000 a month. So the offer that you're on is very important, as well as the skill to start. So the first thing you need to do here is land a high ticket closing role. That's the most important thing. You're not going to make any money if you don't have a high ticket closing role, right? You need to also ensure that the offer that you're on is legit. There's a lot of offers out there that they're false promising OTEs in terms of what you can earn. They don't have good case studies and testimony. They're not a good offer to sell for. Basically, you're going to waste time if you're a beginner and you take an offer that actually isn't a good one. You're going to waste time. You're going to lose money. All of these things, they might not pay you, which doesn't usually happen. But if you don't know what you're doing, that can be the option. You might get an offer that's not legit, and these things could happen to you. So it's really important to ensure that the offer that you're on is legit. It can give you the earnings that you want. It's got great case studies, and you're working for a really good person, and they're credible and trustable, okay? The other thing is you need to know how to land interviews with these top companies. You need to understand, how do you get interviews, okay? How do you get approached by these companies, okay? How do you get yourself in a position where you can actually start having conversations with these people, maybe get on their sales teams? You need to understand that before you get into the space. You also need to know how to get in contact with these business owners. That's another thing. Instagram is very dated. Messaging there doesn't really work. There's different strategies now, different ways, different companies, different software companies, different channels that you should be using in order to get in contact with these business owners. But if you're new to the space, you're hitting your head against a brick wall using outdated strategies, which is ultimately going to mean you're wasting time, and it's going to increase the chances of you failing and probably quitting, because you're like, this doesn't work. When in reality, it does work. You're just not doing it the right way. You also need to master mock calls. When you get an interview with these companies, don't try and skip the process. Don't go, yeah, I'm in corporate sales so I can get on a remote sales job. They will find you out. It's like if you're a Sunday League footballer and I gave you a trial to play for West Ham tomorrow, granted, you might have squeezed somehow to get a trial for an academy. Well done. But as soon as you're on that field, playing against West Ham players who are in the first team, you are going to stick out like a sore thumb that you are nowhere near as good as them. And it's the same in high ticket sales. You might get an interview, but they're going to do a mock call. You pretend to be the closer. I'll be the prospect, and they'll find out your qualifying is terrible, your objection handling is terrible, you're nervous, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know how to pitch. Why should we let you on our sales team and pay you the money that we're paying the other guys? It's just not going to happen. So you need to master mock calls, become really good at actually conducting sales calls. And that's why having practice, working with people and being inside a community is massively beneficial, because you can, before you're thrown into match day, you can do stuff on the training ground, weave all the mistakes out. So bang, when you have the trial, you're on match day, you perform. The other thing is you need to showcase why they should hire you over closers. Why should they hire you? Right? Like, you can take sales calls for us and close them. Fantastic. Why should they hire you over the 100 other people that are actively messaging them and wanting to get on their sales teams? There's different ways, different strategies, and different things business owners are looking for that can separate you from the rest of the closers. For me, every single interview I've had within the remote high ticket closing space when I was a closer myself, every single interview I had, I landed. Every single one. The last offer I was on, 250 people were shortlisted. I think thousands applied. 250 were like, right, we're going to shortlist them. They went from 250 down to 100, down to 50, down to 25, down to 10, down to 5, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. all the way down. Some guys had more experience than me, but I know exactly what separates me than other closers. I have an edge, and I know that. There was no other closer that was better than me and had the whole package like I did. Yeah, you could say it sounds arrogant, but it's the truth. Look at my receipts, look at my backing, look at all of my sales calls. There is no one else. Like, you're buying into me. You need to know how to sell yourself. Okay, I had huge leverage, not only from my call recordings, how much deals I closed, my commission slips. You know, what you need to understand is you need to think of who are you out of sales, right? I used to play football at a very high level. I played for 3 different academies from the ages 8 to 17 years old. I was the quickest in my county at 100 meters, 6 years in a row. Like, that shows you what type of person I am. I'm competitive. I won't lose. That's my mentality. And if you want that within your sales team, that's what I'm going to give you. Not other people can say that. Not other people. Like, you might be good at closing, but can you run a 5K under 20 minutes, right? What's your gym routine look like? Okay, what's your sporting? And I know that's really petty stuff, but it shows like, okay, you've mastered one area of your life. Congratulations. Have you mastered all areas? And it shows what type of person are you. Now, I know that's very nitpicking, but that gives you guys a bit of value of what potential things you can say that makes you stand out to the rest of the guys that are just good at closing. You also need to know how to land US-based offers due to time zones, okay? Because if you're working a 9-to-5 sales job, you're not going to land a UK remote high-ticket closing role because it will clash with your job. You need to know how to find a US-based online business so you can do it from 5 till 10, 6 till 10, 7 till 11, or whatever it may be. Now, the next thing is you need to take sales calls. Once you've landed a remote high-ticket closing role, you need to take sales calls. So the sales maths, let's say you're working a 9-to-5 sales job. Let's say you take calls from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. That's 4 calls per day. Let's say 3 of them show up, 1 no-shows. So that's 3 times 5 days. That's 15 calls a week you're taking on the side of your 9-to-5 sales job. That's 60 calls a month you're taking. Let's say you close 25, which is pretty shocking. 25% out of 60 is 15 sales made in a single month. Let's say you're selling a £4,000 coaching program. The average is £5,000 in the industry. £4,000 coaching program, you make 10% commission per close as a closer. That's £400 per sale. 15 sales that you made times £400 equals £6,000 in commissions made on the side of your 9-to-5 sales job. Now, I'm not going to come on here and say that's easy. I don't want to make it sound easy, but it's simple, right? And I'm only talking to 9-to-5 sales guys here. I never talk about the average person because, in all honesty, I don't feel comfortable saying it's easy for an average person. But if you're working in sales, it is easy, right? And if you don't get to that within 6 months, there's a massive issue. And I'm saying that because I've been there and done it. If you're a sales guy, you're basically getting into another more leveraged sales job. So how can it not work? Ask yourself the question, how can it not work? Unless you're shit at your current sales job. If you're fantastic already, obviously you're going to be fantastic at this with the right training, with the right coaching and everything else. Now, you repeat that for 2 to 3 months, earning £4,000, £5,000, £6,000 a month on the side of your 9-to-5 sales job. Then what you do at that point is you obviously transition out. Why? Because if you're working 4 hours in the evening and earning that, what happens if you go full time? You're now fully remote, you set your own hours, can work from wherever you want, and you can make uncapped commissions. Why wouldn't you? So the sales maths, if you go full time, this is full time. Let's say you take calls from 12 p.m. till 8 p.m. Okay, you can obviously take them whenever you want, but let's say 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's 8 sales calls per day. Let's say 6 show up and 2 no-show. Okay, so that's 6 calls a day times 5 days a week. That's 30 calls a week. 30 times 4, 120 calls per month you're taking. Let's say you close 30% now because you've got better, you've been in the industry more, you've taken more calls, and you're more comfortable and you know to handle objections and you've got better. 30% you close. 30 out of 120, that's 36 sales in a single month. Let's say again, you're selling that £4,000 coaching program, so £400 per sale. 36 sales times £400 commission per sale equals £14,000, 400. £14,400 should I say, which is about, I think, $20,000, I think it works out to be, for anyone who's not from the UK. And this is once you've transitioned out full time. Again, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's very simple. This is the roadmap in terms of how it happens and how it happens for anyone that I work with inside Capital Close on my coaching business. I only work with sales guys. Because I've been there and done it myself. Okay? And I have pure conviction that it can happen because it's easiest. With all due respect, I don't want to work for people that haven't got sales experience. I just don't. I want to work with sales because it's easy for me to get them results because you're literally in sales, you're playing rugby. I just need to show you how to play American football. It's simple. I don't want to teach a golfer how to play American football. It's going to take me ages. This is why the time frame can happen quickly. And I only work with 9-to-5 sales guys, and they all do it on the side of their 9-to-5 sales job. And that's why I know the time frames, because I actually actively do it for the guys inside. Now, the roadmap, the rough roadmap, this is what we normally do for the guys inside Capital Closer as well. This is what a roadmap should look like in terms of starting to fully transitioning out. First month, learning and mastering the skill, non-negotiable. Handling objections, the qualifying phase, 7 parts of the sales call, the type of prospects that are going to come on call, you have to master it. If you don't master this, you're never going to get an opportunity. You can forget about it. The second thing is you land an offer, month 2. Land a remote sales job. Okay, third month, you would have landed a remote sales job. You ideally want to be hitting £4,000 per month on the side of your 9-to-5 sales job. That should be the target. Fourth month, you hit £5,000 per month on the side of your 9-to-5 sales job. Fifth month, you should really decide to fully transition out, obviously. At that point, fully transition out, you have more time, you take more sales calls, you hit £10,000 per month as you would have fully transitioned out at that point. Month 6, again, you're fully transition out, you hit £12,500 per month as you are full-time. That is a realistic roadmap. Now, for anyone who's not working in sales, I'd say that's probably going to take you 12, 18 months. But anyone who's working in sales, it is embarrassing if you do not get to these numbers within that time frames. I promise you. I promise you. Like for me, and look, my situation was a bit different. You guys know, like you've probably seen it from my channel. My situation was different. I had more time. I was on a very good offer. I had a lot of sales experience. I'd invested in sales coaching before the high ticket sales space. My first month, I did $21,878 in commissions, or 848, one of the two, in commissions. My very first month. Okay, so like that gives you an understanding. If you have the sales ability already and you land a good offer, like that can what happen once you hit month 5 or month 6, guys. And as you can see, yeah, look, for me, my first month, $21,878 or 48, I can't remember, one of the two, whatever that adds up to, which I closed £119,000. Actually, no, because we used to get paid from the 25th of April to we basically got paid on the 25th and 25th of each month. So yeah, it was basically calculated from that. So £109,000 in deals I closed in that single month, and then I got paid 15% commission on that. It's usually 10%, just so you know, guys. But the offer I was on, it was a very, very good offer, and it was 15%. 6 months down the line, they changed it to 10%, which was a bit annoying, but luckily at the time, it was that. And then as you can see, my second month, $25,340 in commissions. Okay, this is to give you guys an understanding of the time frames. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say for me it was the norm. It's not really the norm in terms of that. You know, I was full time straight away due to some reasons. You can check out my YouTube channel why I was full time straight away. I was on a very, very good offer. I had a lot of sales training before, and I had a mentor as well throughout this process. Okay, as you can see, is again receipts upon receipts, and this is why it's important, because a lot of people like to say numbers, but where are your receipts? As you can see, this is from a Slack channel. This is from an internal company that I used to work with, an Airbnb coaching program of me closing a $34,000 deal and getting paid 15% commission. I took one call and closed this guy. I remember I closed him. I took the call on a Thursday. This was the quickest sales cycle I've closed one of these big deals. I took the call on a Thursday. He closed on a Monday. Usually it took me like 2 weeks to close these ones. Anyone who's like a 5K or a 10K deal, they would normally close on the call, but obviously a bigger, you know, he had to like move money around like from investment stocks and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, again, receipts. As you can see here, this was from a singular month. I mean, that works out to be what, £15,000, top of the leaderboard, commission slip from last year, all of these things to show you proof. Because high ticket sales was the thing that allowed me to, in my second year, I didn't do it in my first year purely because I just wanted to lock in and just go crazy and earn as much as possible. But in my second year, enjoying the fruits of my labor and doing the thing that I always wanted to do, travel the world, take sales calls from my laptop, use a skill that I already had, and make tens of thousands per month from doing so. Here's a picture from Dubai, staying in Jumeirah Mina As Salam, which is one of the 5-star hotels, taking a sales call there while looking at the Burj Al Arab. Again, staying at a villa and taking sales calls from there for a week. Going to one of the best hotels in Ibiza. Going to one of the best hotels in Marbella. Going to one of the best hotels in Portugal. One of the best hotels in Saint-Tropez. And again, having that flexibility, all from the skill I already had, but I used it in a better opportunity vehicle that allowed me to travel, do the things that I want, set my own calendar. Okay? So I ask you, like, look 6, 12 months down the line. Like, what would life look like when you actually commit? Start doing the thing that you know you need to do and get into remote high ticket closing. Like, what's going to happen? Are you going to go to the gym when you want? Or go to a better gym in your area? Are you going to go to Marbella or Bali or Australia or Miami for a week with the rest of your mates who are also maybe in remote high ticket closing and take sales calls together and earn $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a week and have the holiday paid for in a week? Are you going to start going to the best restaurants, but not just on a weekend? Go to it during a weekday. Why? Because you can. Okay? Are you going to buy yourself a watch after you put in that hard work? You have that watch in your mind that you want to buy. And after 6 to 12 months of finally making that commission, you treat yourself. Are you going to set up your own home office and make it look all swanky and look cool? Because it's something you've always wanted to do, work from home so you can have your own flexibility. Or are you just going to be working abroad in different countries and taking sales calls? Because the reality of a 9-to-5 sales job, guys, and I can say it because I've been there and I've done it, is it's cold calling, it's prospecting. It's doing all the non-ROI activities that just don't earn you the money that you want to earn. It's climbing the bullshit corporate ladder that's going to take you 10, 15, 20 years to get to 300, 400 grand a year. Right? It's the tax. Look at that. Once you start earning over £125,000, you're getting taxed at 45%. 45% you're being taxed at. Do you because it infuriates me. When I used to get taxed at 45%, they used to show me in my commission slips and I was fuming. Half the money just going to the government. For what? For what? It became harder to get to where I wanted to be because I was getting taxed more. This gives me anxiety. Looking at the train being like sardines around these miserable people who all hate the situation they're in. How much longer do you want that going on for? Right? Waiting 6, 12 months for your deals to close, which is pathetic. You know, being trapped only 22 days of holiday. How much longer do you want that to happen? Right? And you can feel the conviction because I've been there and I've done it. Okay? I'm not someone who's here on a video saying, oh, you know, screw all 9-to-5 sales. I've done it. Okay? And I've been there. Because the switch happened to me very quickly. The switch happened to me was I realized in 10 to 15 years, if I carried on doing what I was doing, this is where I was going to end up. I was going to probably end up earning 300 grand a year, which on paper, everyone thinks is really good. Well, look, 300 grand a year, take home after tax only works out at £14,000. So I'd be 35 years old, earning £14,000. The worst thing is, I'd probably have a wife, I'd have kids, I'd have my car payments, her car payments, a mortgage, I'd be all of these expenses at 35, so I'm probably only keeping £5,000, right? And on top of that, I've got a mortgage. I've still got 25 days of holiday. I'm still getting on that stupid train with those miserable people, having trains being cancelled every single week. You know, and I'm there and I'm thinking, you know, about my old younger self. What would have happened, Connor, if you took action and you just did the thing you know wanted to do, rather than being comfortable? You know, and you're sitting in your suit and you think you're the big I am. I used to think I was the big I am wearing my suit. I've got the suit, I've got the watch. You're the idiot. You're the idiot. Because you're working for the person who's in his t-shirt, who's in his tracksuit bottoms, who's getting out of his Ferrari. And it's the truth. It's the truth. It's so backwards, and it's how they want you to think. It's like, oh, if you're wearing a suit, you're the big dog. No, you're not. You're the idiot. They want you thinking you've got that identity, but deep down, where everyone knows you're the idiot. Because, you know, it all comes down to living with the bill of regret. And being 15 years down the line and just seeing the whole bill of regret. You could have done this, Connor. You could have done this. You could have done this. You could have been there. And I just knew that couldn't happen. Because for me, what I wanted to happen was not in 10 to 15 years and wait that long. And it's not even guaranteed anyway. Anything can happen in 10 to 15 years. I'm waiting for this stupid, miserable, depressing, comfortable, terrible life. No, in 6 to 12 months, and I'm not just saying, oh, I wanted it. I was willing to put in the work, but I wanted to be able to go to where I want, travel to whatever country I want, stay at the best villas, stay at the hotels, travel business class, travel first class, do the things that I want, make money online and have the flexibility to do so. Earn, 15, 20, 25, 30,000 pounds plus per month from the luxury of my laptop. You know, if I wanted to go away to Miami for a month and get an apartment, I can do so. If I want to move to Dubai full time, I can. If I want to move full time to America, I can. That's what I wanted. And it to be in 6 to 12 months and use the skill that I already had of sales, right? And remote high ticket closing was that vehicle that allowed me to do all of this. It wasn't e-commerce, it wasn't trading, it was remote high ticket closing. I used the skill that I already had, but I used it in a leveraged vehicle. So the question I'm going to leave it on is, do you want to carry on going down this path? And in 10 to 15 years, it end up like this, because it will, right? Do you want to go down this path, or do you want to go down this path? And you know the actions you need to take to make sure you don't go down that one and make sure you go down that one. So I'm going to leave that with you guys. Hopefully you found the video useful, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.